Hello, nice to meet you. My name is JJ. Can you tell me your full name, please? Okay, what can I call you? Alright, so in this first part of the test, I'm going to ask you some general questions about yourself. So let's first of all talk about what you do. Do you work or study? Okay, and why did you choose your job or your course? Okay, and what do you dislike about your job or about your course? Tell me about the first day of work or first day of school. All right, and now let's talk about weather. Do you prefer cold weather or hot weather? Okay, okay. And what do you think are the effects of climate change in recent years? Okay, and would you like to visit other cities that have different climates from where you live? All right, now let's move on to talk about technology. So, is technology important in your life? Okay, and is there any technology you don't like? Okay, and what do you think are the trends in technology today compared to when you were young? All right, so now we're going to move on to the second part of the test. So in this part, I'm going to give you a topic and I would like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. But before you talk, you will have 1 minute to prepare and think about what you're going to say. And you can make notes if you wish. Okay, so the cue card question is, describe a noisy place you have been to. Okay, you have 1 minute to prepare. Can you start speaking now, please? All right, so now we're going to move on to the last part of the test. So here I'm going to ask you more general questions related to your topic. So the first question is, do you think it is good for children to make noise? All right. Then should children not be allowed to make noise under any circumstances? Okay, and what kinds of noises are there in our life? Okay, and which area is exposed to noise more, the city or the countryside? All right, and the last question, how people usually respond to noises in your country? All right, so the test is over. Good job, guys. Now I'm going to show you my band score 8 answers to all these questions. What do you do? Do you work or study? Well, I work. I work as an accountant. I've been doing this job for about 8 years now. So I'm responsible for a variety of finance related tasks. It means I do lots of paperwork and usually work long hours in front of the computer. Well, I don't mind it. Well, and I like my job, which is quite rewarding. Why did you choose to do this job? Well, I guess I chose to become an accountant because, well, there's no particular reason actually. This is what I studied in college. I majored in accounting. So after I graduated, I only looked for an accounting position. What do you dislike about your job? Overall, I'm satisfied with my current job, but sometimes I have too much work to do and I have to work overtime as well, which is quite overwhelming. Tell me about the first day of work or school. Well, I remember that I was quite nervous because, it was my first day of work. But my boss kindly gave me a tour of the office and he also explained how things work and what tasks I need to do, stuff like that. So, yeah, it went great. Do you prefer cold or hot weather? Well, I'm more of a summer person, so I prefer hot weather. It's just because I love going to the beach on my vacation. When I'm laying in the sun, reading a book on the beach, I don't get to think about all my worries and it really helps me to relieve my stress. It feels like I'm in some kind of heaven, What do you think are the effects of climate change in recent years? Well, to be honest, I don't know much about the climate change. But as far as I know, the climate change has been affected in many ways. Because of that, sea level is rising and ice is melting. And I think it's going to get worse and worse. Would you like to visit other cities that have different climates from where you live? Oh, of course. I love to visit places with different climates. I like somewhere hot and has a picturesque beach with emerald water and golden sand. And it'll be the best if there are great surfing spots so that I can ride some waves. Is technology important in your life? Yes, it plays a significant role in my life. I use my phone for everything. I use it for texting and calling, but also frequently use Instagram and do online shopping and, search information all the time. So smartphones have made everything so much easier and faster these days, I can't live without my phone. Is there any technology you don't like? Well, I don't have any technology that I particularly dislike, but if some electronic devices are hard to use or difficult to get used to, then I wouldn't be so fond of them. What do you think are the trends in technology today compared to when you're young? Well, I'm not an expert, but obviously technology has developed a lot. It has changed quite a bit. Now everyone has their own phone and they can access the internet anytime and anywhere. It has made our lives a lot easier and faster. Describe a noisy place you have been to. Okay, let me tell you about my favorite cafe, which is very noisy on weekends. Well, this cafe is located in the heart of downtown, so there are a lot of landmarks around. The area is always busy with tons of tourists, couples, and locals hanging out. The cafe is quite old, but the interior recently received a complete renovation, so now the inside is very modern and vivid. Well, the place is quite spacious and has floor-to-ceiling windows that let in abundant natural light, giving it bright ambience. Well, I think because of its nice atmosphere and modern interior, it has lots of good reviews on the internet, and many young people post about it on Instagram. So that's why. this place is always packed with people, and it gets very crowded and noisy, especially on weekends. Well, I'm sad that it got really popular these days, but it is still my favorite cafe. I love their coffee and their friendly staff. All the staff working there are so welcoming and kind, so I try to go there on weekends. So I try to go there on weekdays when it is less crowded. So when I received this cue card question, this place immediately came to mind. Person to ask, but well, as far as I'm concerned, it's good for their development. But it's also crucial for children to learn to be considerate of others, especially in public spaces. So parents should have open conversations with their children about being considerate of others, so that the children understand when it is appropriate to make noise and when it is not. Should children not be allowed to make noise under any circumstances? Well, as I said before, they need to learn how to be considerate of others in public spaces. However, if they are in some outdoor places and nobody can hear them, then they can be as loud as they want, I think. What kinds of noises are there in our life? Well, that's a bit of a random question. Okay, let me think. Well, obviously, there are many different sources of noise in our lives, such as people talking, various machines, and animals like dogs, birds, and cats, so it's kind of difficult to find a complete noise-free environment in today's world. Which area is exposed to noise more, the city or the countryside? Well, I reckon that the city is more exposed to noise because there are a lot more people in the city, I live in Seoul, which has a lot of things to do and, places to go. I mean, we have a lot of huge shopping centers, cool cafes, and famous restaurants, which are always crowded and busy. So, for the most part, these places are much noisier than the countryside. How would people usually respond to noises in your country? That's an interesting question. Well, it really depends on the person and the context. Some people might ignore the noise, while others might try to find a way to reduce or get rid of the noise if the noise bothers them so much.